Here we go. All right, here starts the recording. We're coming back to our notes. Everybody with me? Everybody got their phones up. Everybody got their masks on their faces.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I was manager.
Can you make it after my class?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's done now.
Okay, even better. Okay, we got a couple more skills to learn, and then we're gonna jump into the calculator. The next one, so I made us do all the multiplying before lunch. Remember when we do it by hand, you need the columns of the first one to match the rows of the second one. I'm gonna do another multiplying, but I've got this little T with my A. That T means that we're going to do a transpose. We're going to transpose matrix A. Now, if you go back to our notes earlier, I told you that transpose means to flip matrix across diagonal, or an easier way I think to think about it is to switch the rows and the columns. So we're going to go transpose my matrix of A. That means something that was a row before now becomes a column. So instead of going 1, -2 across, I'm going to go 1, -2 vertically. So the first row becomes the first column. And then the second row will become the second column. Instead of 3 to 5 left to right, I'm going to go 3, 5 up and down. You could have looked at it the other way. You could have looked columns and then made that into rows. It's going to give you the same thing. I could have done 1, 3 and made that a row. Still my first row. I could have gone -2, 5, made that column a row. Same thing as what I got. I need to bring this down to where I'm at. I'm going to copy and paste it. So A raised to the T is the same thing as this new matrix I just made. And now we're going to multiply it by B. And B is 6, 3, 0, -4. Oh, I thought we were done multiplying. I lied. We're still got another multiplying problem. Here we go. I've got a 2 by 2. When I multiply them together, I get another 2 by 2. These 2's go together and they'll cross out. I have 2 here. I have 2 there. So I have a 2 by 2. Gonna set myself up. We just did this before lunch, so hopefully you have some memory still of it. I'm gonna do my multiplying. I'll narrate if anyone needs to hear me. If you're good to go on your own, go for it on your own. 1, 3, 6, 0. First row, first column goes in the first row, first column. 6 plus 0. I'm gonna stay in the first row, but now I'm gonna go to the second column. So I've got 1 times 3 is 3, and then 3 times -4 is -12. I'm next going to do my second row first column, which goes here. So I get -12 plus 0. And then last, I have my second row and my second column, which goes here, which is -6 plus -20. Anybody questions yet? Okay, now I got to add them up. 6 plus 0 is 6. 3 plus -12 is -9. -12 plus 0 is -12. -6 plus -20 is -26. Okay, that's what I got earlier. Questions yet? Okay, next I've got DET A. These DETs refer to my something called determinant. Determinant. I don't think we got to this today in my other class, but we're going to do inverse functions later. And to do the inverse, you need to know how to find the determinant. Technically, the determinant is A times D minus BC. However, we do a lot of times we do 1 over the determinant. So I was talking to my other class, I kept doing 1 over, 1 over. So technically the determinant is what's in the denominator, but if you do 1 over, that is also okay. So I'm going to try and keep it here for simplicity. Sorry, I have period for the conflict of information. Now you're probably like, I don't know what little a, little d, little b, little c mean. Only works in a 2 by 2. I will not make you do anything bigger than a 2 by 2 by hand. And in a general 2x2 matrix, we label the parts A, B, C, D. Each element, I just kind of read across the page, A, B, A, C, D. And so when I do A times D, I'm multiplying these two together. And then when I do minus B times C, I'm multiplying these two together. Okay. So matrix A, I'm just going to rewrite that so I know what I'm doing. Matrix A is 1, -2, 3, 5. So when I do A times D, I get to do 1 times 5 minus B times C, -2 times 3. One times 5 is 5, minus -2 times 3 is -6. Two negatives make a plus, that equals 11. Again, technically the determinant is 11. However, we're going to do a lot of 1 over, 1 over, 1 over. So if you wrote 1 over, that's okay. I'm going to try and keep it consistent here, though. 11 is the answer I'm going to get. All right, let's try B. I've got to find my matrix, 6, 3, 0, -4. 6 times -4. 3 times 0. -24 minus 0 is just -24. Okay, I only made you do that by hand. Flip your paper over. Determinant of C and determinant of B. I'm not going to make you do a 2 by anything bigger than a 2x2, so we're going to have to use our calculator for this. So I need everyone to get their calculators out. If you learned nothing from me today, this is the most important part. Calculator stuff. Do you see on the left-hand column of your calculator, it goes y equals, it goes second, alpha, math, and then it says x raised to the negative first. And in small letters above x to the negative first, it says matrix. Does everyone see that? Okay, I would need you to press second and then x to the negative first to get to our matrix menu. The first menu is called names. And if you click on any of these, we're going to use those matrices in our problem. Do any of yours have little numbers behind your like A, B, and C? Nope, didn't think so. Perfect. Hey, Katie. If you go to math, those are all the things we can do with our matrices. We just did DET, and I'm going to show you how to do that with bigger than 2x2s. The little t we can do. I don't really know what the other ones are right now. We'll see how many of them we're going to use and how many of them we're not. So whatever, those are cool to have. And then last is edit. You want to go to edit, and you want to click on A. What you probably see, and I messed up because I did this last block. You probably see a 1x1 matrix that's just empty, right? You want to make it a 2x2 because the matrix A that's on your paper is a 2x2. So we were going to fill in for matrix A, B, and C, and D. So I'm going to type in 2 for the first number, enter, it fits me to the second number, 2 again. That gives me a 2x2 matrix, and then I fill it in with my numbers. It goes 1, -2, 3, 5. Once you get done, though, it kind of spits you back to the beginning to have you like keep editing it. Don't do that. You can just press second mode and then get back in. Second, x to the negative first. So now I want you to go do B. Edit B to be 6, 3, 0, -4. The biggest mistake is losing a negative. It's thinking that you're on a different row than you are. So before you click out of it, make sure, okay, this looks exactly like what I see on my paper. There's nothing worse than inputting it wrong and then not getting any of the answers right. Again, when you're done with that, press second mode to quit out. And then to get back into matrix, do second x to the negative first. Brooke? With what? Well, it just has spaces for you to fill in, I bet. It has something. Keep editing, Susie. All right. Before we do a new thing, I want to practice some new things that we don't do. I want to show you that we can do literally everything we did on the side. So like the first thing, the first thing I did was A plus B. Let's do A plus B. Now your question is probably, how do we do that? You know how you went all the way over to edit to get to change all the numbers? You're gonna stay on the first page, which should say names or something, and you're just gonna click on it. So I'm gonna click on A, and it should spit me back to the main page. So you should just see A on the main page. Then I do plus sign. Then I go back in, second, X to the negative first, and I go press B. And now it should just say A plus B. And then I press enter, and I should get the matrix we got when we did little a. I could also do little b. I'm going to do a plus 2 times b. So I'm going to do second, X to the negative first, a plus 2, second, X to the negative first, b. And I got exactly what I got from little b. Cool. Let's do a multiply one. Let's do a times b. So I'm going to do second matrix, go to a, and then press multiply, and then do second matrix b. And I got 6, 11, 18, negative 11. That's what I got from little d in my calculator. We could do all of these all day. Let's check one that's no and see what happens when the no pops up. So I know that we did a times c and we said that we couldn't do that. Let's do that one really quick. Let's do matrix A times matrix C. My calculator spits me out a lot of information. It says in matrix multiplication, left side columns must equal right side rows. Yours might just come up with an error message. Is that what yours does? Yep. Dim, what does it say? Dim mismatch. Yep. That means the dimension is not the same. So if you get an error, it just means we can't do it. And that's okay. You might get that. Let's do determinant because we just did that too by hand. So I'm going to do second matrix. And when you do determinant, you need to write that first. So I'm going to go over to math and press DET. And then I'm going to go back in and pick which matrix I want to do my DET of, and that's A. Determinant of A is just 11. All right, now I'm not going to make you do a 3 by 3 by hand, so let's do it on the calculator. Let's do determinant of C, because that's the next problem that we need to ask ourselves. Press determinant first, then press C. And I get negative 1. Let me get my notes back up. So determinant of C, I'm going to write calculator underneath it just because that's where I did it. I could write it nicer. And you can write negative 1. Again, if you want to write 1 over negative 1 because we're going to end up using that, you can do that as well. Does not matter to me. And then let's do determinant of D. Second math, oh no, sorry, second X to the negative first, determinant, and then D as in dog. Ooh, determinant of D, I got a weird message. It says indeterminate rows must be equal to columns. So we can't do that. You can only do determinants of square matrices. So I'm going to write none or NA or no solution. And I'm going to say, I'm going to write a little note to myself next to it, say it only in squares. All right. While we have one more, let's do this last determinant. Let's start in our calculator and let's press DET in this matrix. So it's just a little typing left and then we're going to be done for today. Oh. So if anyone needs to see me enter my matrix back in, I get to do second matrix. And I'm going to put it down at letter E because I'm not done with that yet. Don't forget to go over to edit. If you just press E by itself, it's not going to give you it. It's a 3x3 matrix. Oh. 3, 0, 5, 6, 1, 3, -1, 5, -2. Get out. Press DET for determinant, and then press my matrix, which is, we said E as in elephant. Oh shoot, I did something wrong. Try that again. You got 104. Sounds good. I will clarify or confirm in a second. 104. Perfect. Again, if we had more time, I'd make you do it by hand, but why do it if we can do it on the calculator, right? All right, I am going to close out the video so you guys don't have to listen to us cleaning up.